good morning, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy, joined by the usual cast and crew, Max, Tucker, and Dr. Will's Outlook, breaking down another week of financial markets and everything in between, right? Shout out to everybody who showed up early to the stream. Would appreciate a like and subscription as always, and just a reminder that we do have premium content linked in the description of our YouTube, as well as the link tree in our bio. But welcome, guys. It's another week. Super excited after kind of how we closed last week in legacy markets, right? We kind of were on a cliff's edge on Friday. After moving down over the last 2 weeks, what does that mean for markets, right? Does that mean that this week is going to be a continued sell, or do we maybe see a bit of the brakes kind of slow down here before making a decision in the first week of October? I know that's questions I'm definitely make sure to like and retweet as well the Because Bitcoin tweet linking the Market Check show if you guys haven't already. We appreciate
I just meant that for you guys, by the way. I knew I was gonna throw them off, man. That was my fault.
It's okay. It's okay.
That was my fault.
You really screwed him up there, man.
I knew it. I sent it and I was like, I'm gonna throw them off with that message.
We'll blame it on the fact that it's Monday, right? We'll blame it on Monday.
All right, it's Monday.
But yeah, no, guys. Like I said, I mean, legacy was pretty much on a cliff's edge when we closed last week. I think it does set up for probably a continued sell over the next few weeks. What that looks like is kind of to be decided. That's something that we've talked about. Is it going to be, a more aggressive sell? Could it be, kind of a bit of a controlled sell before a potential leg up into the end of Q4 into Q1? I know we're a little bit split as a panel about the potential of that idea. And that's, something I've been seeing, floated more and more. But yeah, I mean, in the face of this, you have crypto that remained weak throughout the weekend, could not get any bounce. And even worse, probably from an optics standpoint, we learned that the buyer above 27K last week was Michael Saylor. There was speculation, right? We had speculation that was occurring, but nothing actually confirmed. But now we can officially say that it was indeed Michael Saylor buying the top of Bitcoin once again.
How many tops has he bought?
Oh man, he is the top. He is the top. We are, I believe, 10% down from his entry now. Where would we be without Michael Saylor's bids? That's a good question. But crypto does look weak, and in the face of this legacy market weakness, it's a little bit difficult to be bullish here locally. But I guess we'll see kind of how we trade over the next 2 weeks. I think something that's very notable today that I also want to get into is that TLT is getting absolutely smoked, guys. I mean, it broke down from a support. I know we've talked before about the potential for a double bottom on TLT, or like a bull div double bottom, something like that on TLT. But right now we did lose support, and that momentum is pretty strong to the downside. So I'm going to be a little bit careful catching a falling knife there, given the outlook of that over a higher time frame. That looks pretty rough. But I know that you guys trade TLT maybe a little bit more closely than me. So I'll leave the TA opinions on that to you. I really want to get into the implications of what it means, though, right? Like TLT selling off in this manner, how does it impact the market? What does it kind of mean moving forward? And, we can talk about everything else in between, right? Where equities are sitting, where crypto's sitting. What do you think, guys? Happy Monday.
Tommy, we can get past the structured conversation here. Just pull up DXY and give me your opinion on that, okay?
Will, what do you think about this, real quick? Just give me your
no. That doesn't even matter. Just look at DXY. Literally look at DXY.
It matters, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll go.
Look at that. That matters. That very much matters.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It either swing fails that high, or it's going to rip, man. It is going to rip.
Yeah. There's not a lot of resistance there. There's just not if it gets above there.
Oh yeah, no wicks.
I could see a retest of 110 potentially, like that structure up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like the bottom of that.
Yeah,
What's that one? Just shy of 110. That's about as high as I see.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. So
that's about as high as I see it going, truthfully.
Is up there, man. That's
yeah.
at all.
I'm not saying that's a small feat. I'm just saying I think that my level before, and I was, by the way, I was bullish Dixie at 100, and I have been for a long time. I have been very, very patient waiting for this to play out. I wanted 107 to 108, but I could see it going to 110. I don't really see it much more than that. I think it's going to start to roll over. But this thing, it's like a cargo ship, man. This isn't a jet ski. When this thing starts moving like it is, it takes a long time for it to turn back around. It's not going to be a quick like tag the level and then turn. It's going to be a month or 2 months of distribution, and then it's going to roll over. You know,
yeah,
it's going to take a while.
To add to that too, Max, like that doesn't even mean it's over when it gets up to 110, because structurally now your support is 105, right? And if you can hold 105, you're basically forming a higher low, and now you're structurally in an uptrend on the dollar, right? And you do not want to see that. You do not want to see an uptrend on the dollar.
So if we put in like a high up here, and then we put in like 105, you know, like that.
Yeah, you do not want to see that. You see that, it's over. It's completely over. Like that's assets selling off in a massive way.
Yeah, I mean, so
that'll take some time to distribute. That means all of 2024 is going to be hell. Like you might get one good quarter, but like everything else is going to be downside from there.
Yeah. Man, oh man. What about the imminent halving 2024 bull run, Will?
I noticed Zodiac over here is talking about FYI. SPY broke the neckline. I'm pretty sure we had in the Giga chat a call on the short SPY.
He said that
significantly
that Will
higher.
faded him. Will, did you fade Zodiac?
Will, did you fade them, man?
Wow.
Oh, I didn't, because I'm pretty sure I put a short in on SPY.
Wait, what's he talking about? HNS. Let's see it. None of this lopsided garbage.
Well, left shoulder. So, like Tucker, left shoulder is like,
yeah. He was trying to indicate a head and shoulders. I don't think it is, because like again, if we're in a head and shoulders, you're going to like below 4K.
No, yeah, I don't.
You get what I'm saying? Oh, Tucker, you muted yourself.
Yeah, no, sometimes it does that. No, for me, head and shoulders needs to be
an even distribution on both sides.
It needs to be this, or this, right? The slants, or
the slants
equal,
too,
but not up. Up is not it. That doesn't break down the way that these should.
Yeah, this is more of a structured move rather than I get the idea of a head and shoulders here, but like I was also expecting downside. I just wasn't expecting it in a head and shoulder format. Real quick, Tucker, can you show just for the audience kind of like how you measure the head and shoulder depth real quick?
Yeah, if I could, I'd rather find a good one. Should I just
I'm saying like if we were to just call this one a head and shoulder.
Okay,
let's just use it as an example.
I mean, if you were to call it, I mean, that's the neckline. So you got shoulder, head, shoulder. You take the top to the neckline, you drag it down, and this
from the break. Yeah.
4071.
Yeah. That would be the expectation if this were head and shoulders. I think a lot of us are anticipating a bounce in that 4,300.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's a head and shoulders or something else. It's a bearish structure, whether it's a head and shoulders or a complacency shoulder or distribution.
I call it a build long shoulder.
And actually the most bearish thing about what just happened is, Tucker, if you go a little further left and you draw a horizontal line, look where we retested back in like Q4 of last year. Like the underside, sorry, to the left, like all that supply up there rejected us.
Yeah,
actually, I don't know. It looks different on mine. Maybe it's on ES. It looks different, or maybe I was looking at it.
It might look different on ES.
Yeah, that's the most bearish thing, is that the real Pico top, like that last distribution before last year's sell off, got tagged, and then we spit right back out of it.
Yeah,
that's the most bearish part. It doesn't, I mean, yeah, we could argue over what pattern it was. Point being is there was supply above head. We retested it. Look what's happening. That ain't good. That's not good.
Evan said, he said it looks like Bitcoin March of 2022.
Yeah. I can see it.
Where's Mark? 22.
I mean, I've been posting that fractal in our Discord. Actually,
I don't know
You
about
talking about?
I've been posting
Look,
that fractal in our
look.
Discord.
Oh, this one?
No, you haven't. Yeah, you have
Look,
been.
It definitely looks like that double top in there on March.
2019. We go with 2019 going into 2020. We ain't going to 2022. Ain't nothing touching 2022. That's already done. It's over with. That's like people hoping for 2021 to come. It's not happening. 2021 was the year of injections of liquidity. It's not happening anymore. The flush
What's not
happened.
No, he's saying for SPY it looks
2021.
like wait, what?
I would say definitely looking at lower 20s. You know, like that's my opinion on this, right?
Okay.
Definitely looking at lower 20s. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a little more bearish than that.
Okay. No, I'm just
I'm a little more bearish than that.
Oh,
Especially for Ethereum, man. I think Ethereum's so cooked.
I didn't
What-
say anything
I
about
actually
Ethereum
don't-
because you already know my opinion on that.
so I think that the entire crypto asset is cooked for the short term right here, but I actually think that ETH BTC could potentially put in a bounce here if we're talking like lower time frame, right? I know you're talking 2 months out at least, but I actually think Bitcoin has a little bit of catching up to do here. Yeah, those are juicy. Those lows are nice.
Yeah, let me just hide this.
So bad.
Who had this on the? I think everybody's been drawing this thing on the weekly. I don't know. I mean, you could see it. You could see it drop into here, then ETH Bitcoin bounce, and then just
It just looks like a complete. I mean, it looks like complete trash. I'm going to be honest. On the USD pair, it looks like it's literally about to be cut in half by the end of the year, and I mean that in all seriousness.
Hey, cool with me, man. I'm short ETH beta, man. I've got an optimism short rolling from higher. I don't know, man. I what's that?
So it's not cool with B because I've only got SPY down to 4150, and then it cuts my position.
Yeah, I'm not quite as bearish as a couple guys here on this show, but I mean I don't know. I just think that everybody's like we're gonna get some more downside here. I'm not expecting it to turn around quick, but I'm really not expecting like the VIX spike to 50 and the true lower low retesting pre-COVID highs to come quite yet.
Max, what do you mean 50? That is far too bearish for the VIX.
Okay, look.
300.
Look. The most bearish thing right now, which nobody's talking about, is that this video only has 16 likes so far. Guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please consider smashing that thumbs up button for us. We got 27 people watching right now. It really helps the channel grow. It helps the show gain traction when you guys hit that thumbs up button for us. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here, but I need you to just take one quick moment and hit that thumbs up button for us. It really, really does wonders. Now, while I'm going on this tirade, I have to bring something else to your guys' attention. Couple things, actually. One, we do have a YouTube membership. It is $5 per month. If you show up every single day and you're like, you know what? I've learned something from these guys. I like supporting them and watching and liking and subscribing. But you know what? My like doesn't itself keep the lights on it because Bitcoin headquarters. Maybe try out the $5 YouTube membership just to test the water. See how really supporting us feels. Beyond that, if you think that we're really good traders, which I can confirm we are, you can get a 1-month free trial in our Discord. You get to see all of our positions in real time, premium analysis, premium analytics. That link is in the description below. If you sign up, you get 1 month for free. I'm almost done, guys. Bear with me. Okay, I'm almost done. Then we're going to get back to fudding Ethereum.
Hold on. What with you? Can you repeat that? What with you?
What do you mean? What with me?
You said bear with you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm almost done with my advertisement. Okay. But guys, we got to keep the lights on at BB, and we've got a really kick-ass Discord. The code across the bottom of the screen, code Twitter BB, gives you 1 month for free. It will not charge your card. You get to pop in the Discord, get to see Will's positions, Tucker's positions, my positions, Snorlax's positions, Wabi's positions, everybody's positions. We got a lot of people here. It's an awesome Discord, premium analysis. And you get the banter and the jargon going back and forth with us here. But if you want to see how we actually execute on this stuff, it's talking about it and having conversation about it and executing are two different things. And that's something that we really hammer home in the Discord. And again, 30 days for free. Let's go back to the charts now. So are we coming down to that trend line? Are we coming down to that trend line? And if we do, are we bouncing?
I mean, does
And
that?
by the way, that is a bearish pattern.
Before we move to
like
that,
a bottom, man, that doesn't look like a bottom at all.
Neither do the wicks on the trend line.
Max, I wanted to touch base on the Discord real quick. If we could take a look at that short there on SPY at 44.
Wait, okay, I gotta have to unshare and then I'll have to reshare the whole screen because I was just sharing the window. All right, Discord. Where's Will?
Will sniped this one, guys, and he called it out in real time. I love when Will gets bearish too.
Yeah,
That's when you know when Will is bearish. That's when you know. All right, so here's all of our positions, man, in real time. Look at Will called that baby out. Look at the date on that. Look at the date on that.
9:20.
Date and time.
So where was that?
What are those contracts worth right now, Will?
That was the top of the move, man.
Yeah, wait. Let's find 9:20.
Literally the top of it.
Can we see CZ's positions too?
He's got like 300 different trading accounts on Binance, man. You couldn't possibly identify them all.
All right. Here is where Will entered the contracts.
Will, what are your contracts worth now? You got them at $10.
Yeah. I gotta look. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick.
I am kind of bullish on the VIX into the end of the year, though, guys. I think given where we bottomed on it and where we have now begun to trend, is pretty, contextually speaking, significant, right? Because you bottomed at the previous COVID swing low right before the VIX went parabolic for about a month. So I think it's an important level on a higher time frame. You're at 4-year VIX lows, and people are just aggressively shorting volatility still, which I can't say I think that's a very bright strategy.
This is something that we
right here, man. Right? Just shorting volatility until it stops working.
So I don't understand the short vol trade and how they keep getting away with it. And there's going to be a vol blowout at some point. I'm not sure exactly when it happens. I don't think it's now. I could be wrong. But I also don't think it's a bad bet to be basically just continually like martingaling into longer dated VIX calls because they're so cheap. The payout on them is 50 to 1 on some of them if you buy 3 to 6 month out calls. So it's like, what do you really care if you have to take the trade 3 or 4 times? Eventually it's going to work here. Typically you get those big spikes. Those big spikes, Tucker, they line up once the Fed starts cutting, by the way. If you were to overlay effective federal funds rate with the VIX on the bottom, you'd see what I'm talking about.
Well, look, so equities don't bottom until you get a VIX above 45. They just don't ever. This is 2020. This is 08. The .com just doesn't even count because the VIX was not working properly. But I guess it does even though, right? Above 45, you get a bottom. We haven't seen above 45 since 2020, right? This is your trend trading, maybe scale out of puts, whatever area, right? But you don't get a generational bottom until you get a spike at least above 45, historically speaking. So this just doesn't tell me that we're in a golden bull market.
Can you pull up the SPX?
Yeah.
Pull it up with that. Yeah, that'll be good to look at.
So
the global bottoms happen. The generational entries have happened when we've seen a VIX spike above 45. There's been some very good local entries at 30 or 35 on the VIX.
Yeah,
But I'm talking generational entries like you are,
Yeah.
Tucker.
exactly.
But also do one more thing for me. Pull up effective federal funds rate. Typically, you get the VIX spike at the tail end of the tightening cycle. Or I'm sorry, the cutting cycle. At least
Mhm.
historically. Can you actually pull up the other one? That one doesn't go back as far. I mean, it's fine. You can tell, right? But the other effective federal funds rate below that. No. Delete the R. Maybe just type in Fed funds.
Man, I'm struggling.
There you go. Top one. Top one should be good. Yeah, so you can see that the previous VIX spikes above 45 have actually happened while the Fed's been cutting, which obviously we are not there yet. So this time could be different. And in that case, I know Tommy's maybe more bullish on like the long vol trade than I am right now. I will be. Tommy, what do you think would cause this time to time out differently than the previous 3 or 4?
As far as what specifically on volatility, that we're going to get a spike and then that the S&P is going to continue to rise?
Well, so if you look at the chart that Tucker's got, you can see that, the previous VIX spikes above, let's just say even 35 or 40 have come after the Fed pause and towards the it's the last leg of the capitulation down. I guess, what do you think, what type of event, because it'd have to be some sort of event. What type of event would cause a VIX spike like these that we're looking at to occur before we even get an official Fed pause, rather than where the previous 3 or 4 have happened actually as we've been close to done cutting?
The thing about volatility is that you don't really need a catalyst necessarily for it to get moving, right? You hit a certain level of value and eventually volatility, at least as far as how it's traded in US stock markets and really global equity markets, has just become this very self-reinforcing, short convexity trade, which has a very high sensitivity to change, but it's essentially betting on there being no change at all. And so when you do get that big change on the VIX, like we're starting to see now, and I've kind of speculated with how quickly that we've hiked rates. I mean, comparably speaking, I'm trying to think of what period, what period compares to the speed of which we have increased our rates. We are going to be lowering the level of liquidity in the market, and liquidity has ultimately been what has supported the volatility trade. So I am expecting, as liquidity unwinds, it's a higher likelihood for volatility to remain elevated, and thus, kind of continue that feedback loop, that reflexiveness that could cause it to spike higher. But I think that it could be a situation, Max, where if we do get a sizable spike on volatility here into the end of the year, you could get cuts. And I think if you get cuts, it might be indicative of something under the hood. And if we don't have a big inflation problem, I think by the end of the year, you could have a reasonable excuse to stimulate the market again or stimulate the economy, which could lead to, like you said, that last rally. But I think I have some personal questions about where we are within the cycle. And yeah, it could be different. It might not. I'm not sure, but I do think locally that volatility is set up for a pretty sizable spike, and that can take the index down pretty far, even if it does eventually rally back to new highs.
So all of last year, we were playing ping pong with that 30 level on the VIX, where we never really got too far above it. Might have to zoom in to see it. I don't know. Maybe you could zoom in real quick, Tucker.
Yeah.
I want to just look at last year. It seems like, I could see us going back and retesting that 30 level. That wouldn't be like the generational entry, generational area. I'd still be looking for a blowout above 45. But yeah, there's no reason we couldn't go back up to that level, And if that does happen, the VIX going up 100% from here, that would imply even, what for the S&P 500, like another 10% down or something.
And I want to point out something I was looking at yesterday, Max, with the S&P. When you look at 4 and 12-hour momentum, yes, RSI is a meme, but when you have crossed into oversold territory on those time frames, you typically get another 10 to 15% spike lower on the S&P. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. Is we could trade 3,800 over the next few weeks, but where we go from there, I think, is a much bigger question mark.
Look at Bitcoin, man. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's never bottomed without the VIX going above 45. We're not even close.
Can you put the VIX chart in a line rather than candles?
I think looking at VIX too, like this is not it's not the same environment as previously. And sorry about that. 10 minutes. I got some kind of email, some kind of like weird alert. So I wanted to kind of log in and see what's going on there. But I'm about 25% on the positions right now. Decent size, like really good size actually. But I kind of want to cut it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a lot of money committed to that. But yeah, I mean, as far as VIX goes, like usually we're in an uptrend, right, on VIX. And right now, arguably, I'd say on the bigger time frames, higher time frames, we're on a downtrend. So the 45 plays, but it only plays in the structural uptrend, which hasn't been a thing, or it was a thing from 18 all the way until 2021. And now I'd arguably say, or actually 2020, and I'd arguably say we're in a downtrend now on VIX. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean we can't swing in between that range. What I would do is I just bring it like a channel, essentially, right, from your highs to your lows. Ignore the spikes, and you can get a good range on that downtrend and kind of tell whether you're at the bottom or top. Because we talked about this, Tommy, and I told you, I was like, when we were at the low, I was like, easily spike from here. I'm like, this is support. That's what it is. I'm like, downtrend or not, it was at support. And that's exactly what happened today. I mean, we got a massive spike on VIX right now that's currently playing out. But, you know, when this thing ends, keep in mind, it's probably going to roll right back down to like 12, 13. But right now, I'd say high time frame, and I haven't moved any of my lines. I'm at resistance. Right. Yeah. I'm at resistance. And this is kind of that area where you have to watch, because if it breaks out, this could be a big spike, which means a big dump's coming. Right. And if it doesn't break out and it continues to hold here, this could be a big pump, which is where basically VIX will reverse back into the support range. So you have to be really careful trying to bid or scalp trade this to the lows at the moment, or even scalp trade it to the highs. Right. Like it's one of those areas where you're kind of playing in the middle. If you were going to take the move, and this is what kind of made me pull the trigger on my SPY call, was the VIX at the low and the dollar breaking out, and I was like, oh, this is, you know, and then you got yields were rising too. I was like, everything's like, it's like the stars aligned for a perfect move to the downside, and so, you know, that's exactly what we saw happen on SPY. Arguably, I'd say the move on SPY, if you put on a monthly, I know higher time frame. Look at the candle though. Look at the candle on the monthly. Like, people are just flat out ignoring this. Like, that's, you can look at the 4 hour, 3 hour, 2 hour, but look at that candle on the monthly.
That is ugly.
That is a massive drawdown, right? And when you look at drawdowns like that, does this drawdown bounce up and then come back and roll back over again? Or do we get a move back up? I don't know. I think this is a capitulation event, the way that candle looks.
Speaking of monthly candles, the S&P monthly candle looks like that. The Bitcoin monthly is still green. I just wanted to point that out. I think it's lagging personally, but we'll see.
Can you say complacency shoulder?
Well, Tucker, look at the last top before we started puking. Tell me that candle is not the same as that candle.
What, here?
No, at the high.
2021.
Our highest point in the chart, 2021. Tell me that's not the same candle playing out right now.
I mean, you had the big downside wick here, but
yeah, and we could see that.
It's
not over yet.
It's more similar to here, brother.
Could be.
It's more similar to
could be a slower drag. Yeah, you're right. That could be the scenario. The biggest thing that I want to point out is the size of the candle is too significant to ignore. Yeah. It's just too big on the high time frame. You can easily see it. If you're ignoring that, I can't help you. I just can't help you because it's just too obvious. And some people may be like, well, it's obvious, so nobody's gonna play it. No, look, obvious to me is not obvious to you at the end of the day, right? obvious to retail is bottoms. They're sitting there trying to short the very low. And I'm not saying I am retail. I am retail, but much more trained eye than your average, person. So when you look at this, for me, it's like there's a lot of strain at the highs here. There's a lot of strain to get any more momentum going. And now that momentum is being lost, and we're seeing that loss of momentum to the downside. Now, I would arguably say on the bull case, you do have support, but it's closer to 4,000, 4,100. If you draw a line, can you draw a line across that right there, Tucker? Yeah, perfect.
What, here?
Yeah, but bring it all the way across.
Yeah, maybe.
You have all that consolidation range. That could easily be support, but look at how much more you have to go if it doesn't hold, right? You have a ways down still. Right now, we're hovering at the tops of the wicks, but
Wait, hang on. Somebody said something about BNB.
What's it looking like?
just continuing to do what it's been doing, playing between 200 and 220.
Trying to
Ripping
squeeze
people on both sides.
Is it really trying to?
Not
Yep.
really.
Well, I'm looking at ETH right now.
BNB squeezing too. Look at it.
No. Stop it, Curve.
It's funny how all of the crypto alts move together in tandem, isn't it? It's like who's moving liquidity into everything at once?
Oh, wow. I think I have a hunch. I think I have
Who
a
could
hunch.
it be? Who could it be?
Nobody wants to think about
Oh,
that though.
geez.
Nobody wants to think about that.
Oh, geez.
Little squeeze on a Monday.
Yeah, bullish squeeze on a Monday.
There's
Love
the
to see
reversal,
it.
man. There it is. Oh man.
See some OI come off and then probably reverse, if I had to guess.
Tucker, you can't take the time frames on that low. People think it's like chatting.
Yeah, I know. If I just put it on like the 3 minute. Oh my
They're gonna be
god.
like, oh my god, I gotta buy here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you like how they keep
Yeah.
protecting that 26K range though? Just keep on protecting it. Keep on protecting it.
No,
Some
they're
people
just,
say that's bullish. I don't know.
they're just coming in for a nice retest of some liquidity, brother.
I wonder if they'll run on ETH, Tucker. I wonder if they'll run. There's some equal highs that were left from the weekend at 1602.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just coming back to run those. See those equal highs, man, right there.
Here?
I wonder if those get. I wonder if those get dragged and then.
Because we almost got
Me
it
on
here.
ETH, not on
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Huh?
I think we can get them on ETH. Maybe I don't think we can get them on Bitcoin.
Wait, did Bitcoin leave some? Whoa, what's happening?
Bitcoin dropped a little bit more on Sunday. Interestingly.
Where's that PFC? Let's load that in.
But I am up 25% on SPY shorts, and this is why I said I'm not touching crypto because I knew they were going to try and pull this.
Yeah, see, Bitcoin swept it.
I don't think Bitcoin's tagging them. I don't.
No.
But
Well,
I was
they're not even-
saying
guess
I was
they
saying
are.
to you guys,
You can tag the
that-
lows.
I thought that Ethereum was going to bounce a little bit. Like I feel like ETH was due for a little bounce against Bitcoin here, just on the low time frame, nothing crazy. ETH BTC just got so abused, man.
Yeah.
So abused.
Alts
Nothing
bouncing on a
wrong.
Monday. What could go wrong?
What could-
Very bullish
Let-
alt
let-
bounce on the Monday. Yeah.
Let me explain something to you, Max. Okay, ETH can get abused as much as it wants. People still don't believe ETH's an altcoin. All right, so they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn.
They are going to learn. Maybe not today, but they're going to learn.
They're gonna learn.
That looks terrible, man.
Yeah.
Expansion soon. Expansion soon.
Mhm.
Expansions.
Win expansion.
Flip it upside down. Expansion.
Yeah, I mean, if
well,
you flip
actually,
that
look at
upside
that,
down,
man.
it looks like one of the most bullish slow grinds into resistance.
It does. It looked like it got rejected, and it's pulling right back into the range again. And that's, man, I don't like being bearish, guys. I just don't. But it's too obvious.
I like when you're bearish, Will.
It's too obvious. I'm not going to get played by the market because of sentiment.
Yeah. Look at this nice rounded bottom, man.
Yeah, bro. Let's not even look at this chart anymore.
They're
Let's look
probably
at
going to
something
sell
else.
this thing.
Huh?
I bet they sell this thing off, man. This might even be done here.
What? Bitcoin?
Just like
Yeah, that might
ETH
have
and
been
this
it.
whole squeeze.
It's
That literally
ETH.
might be it. Yeah, I'm
It's
looking at it right
ETH.
now.
Hang
I
on.
don't
He's going to
think
be the
it's-
one to suffer here.
Hang
You've got a
on.
good
Yeah.
squeeze on it. Looking at the buy volume.
Don't matter. They're
there's
running
this-
out of liquidity.
Yes, they are.
I
There's
literally
just
look.
so much aggression into that high too at like 1590, man, and they just got stuffed.
We just
just
shed
so-
like 30 or 40 million on ETH.
Just,
Yeah.
just so the audience knows, like I was up till 4 a.m. this morning, right? And by the way, I got up at 6, looking at TVL across the board. All right,
Jesus Christ, Will.
looking at TVL across the freaking board, man.
That's psychotic behavior, Will.
It's horrific, man. It is.
Well, I wouldn't admit that to too many people, man. I'd keep that hush hush.
I wanted to know if there's any money in this market, and I can't
What'd you
find it
figure out?
anywhere.
And the answer is no.
I can't
There's
find
not.
it anywhere.
You
I
had
looked
to
at
stay up till
all the
4 to figure
TVL.
that out, man.
I was
Just
all day
ask.
yesterday, all day yesterday, because I got down a rabbit hole and I was like, all right, I got to look through every single chain. I got to see what's actually getting volume on every single. You know, the only thing that had volume last night, and even on ETH, BTC is getting volume, right? But it's not big volume. It's just not. It's just enough to float it. That's it. That's all it's doing. Ethereum, same thing. It's just enough to float it.
Okay, so guys, real quick, we are at 27 likes on this video right now. We got over 30 people watching. Our TP for likes is usually always 30 likes on the video. If you guys are enjoying the content, please consider hitting that thumbs up button for us. Really helps the channel grow. Really helps bring it home, man. Helps that robot take a liking to us at YouTube headquarters. Please consider liking the stream. Thank you guys so much. See, we got 35 people in here so far. Additionally, guys, I was talking about it earlier, but I'm going to repeat it. We are interrupting Market Check to bring you a quick infomercial on the Because Bitcoin Discord. Guys, it's a really awesome Discord. The link to it is in the description below. It's becausebitcoin.com/premium. Also, if you use this code, I'm going to put it across the bottom of the screen. You don't even have to pay to get in it for a month, guys. It's a free month. I want to hang out with some of you guys in there. If you use the code TwitterBB, you get to see all of our positions. You get to see additional analysis, stuff that we don't talk about here, things that we share just with the Discord. We do over an hour of private voice calls every single day, Monday through Friday, an hour. You guys get to talk with us, ask us questions, hear our thoughts morning and afternoon, an hour of voice calls, and they are recorded if you can't make them live every single day in the Discord. So if you guys want to support us further and also support your own trading journey, because we got some real killers on this team and in the community, it's a real hive mind. Consider trying out that Discord 1 month for free. It won't charge your card. Code TwitterBB. Link is in the description below. But yeah, at a minimum, please consider liking the video. But I have a feeling a lot of you guys would really appreciate that Discord. You really would. All right, Tucker, what are you looking at here, man?
Oh, this one's for Evan. This one's for Evan. No,
Just
but look at
for
that perfect tap of that 100 SMA, man.
I have some friends who love to refer to moving averages as support and resistance, and it's like an ongoing joke that I vehemently disagree with that notion. But they do get reactions.
I mean,
sometimes off
Tommy,
moving
come
averages. I
on.
can see it. I mean, yes, algo-driven reactions.
Yeah.
Lightning.
So just
Lightning
because
can-
it's algo driven doesn't mean it's not real, right?
Hold on.
I mean, it depends on how you define moving averages, because they're not supposed to represent support and resistance. They're supposed to represent momentum in the trend.
There you go, Tommy. So I mean, we consider and argue that Lightning can strike in the same position twice, or we can say that Lightning is unlikely to hit the same person more than once, in their lifetime. So
Hang on. Let me comment on this real quick, Tommy. I think that what you said, it's representative of a trend. nothing more, nothing less. It's representative of a trend over a certain period of time. What I would look to it as, and why price bounces off of it, is because price is returning to it's returning to a trend after a deviation away from it. It should bounce off of it. If we're going to continue to follow a 200 candle trend,
Yep.
and we come back to it, it can work as support and resistance, not because it is support and resistance, but because that's a trend that's extended over a long period of time.
I mean,
And it
we
should
agree
continue to
with
follow it.
we agree with the fact that, you know, the reasoning for the bonking or using it as, you know, to lift price. I view support and resistance more as static, horizontally, and moving averages more as a dynamic trend. So it's more of like a visualization. It's kind of semantics at the end of the day.
Well, I remember we were talking to Michael Gayed, and he was saying he doesn't even think of it as trend. He thinks of it as volatility, right? It's just a measure of volatility is all it is.
And here's the issue with it. A lot of the time you'll get, you know, normie traders, people that are just beginning, and they'll go on smaller time frames, 1 hour, 4 hour, and they'll look for bounces off and on of that MA. And really, in reality, if you'd have done that in 2022, you got destroyed. You'd have got completely blown out of your positions, because there's times where that works and there's times where it doesn't. Where it doesn't work is capitulatory events, right? Where it does work is consolidation range sideways. So it can work in certain ranges, but your percentage of trade is only under certain circumstances, and in other circumstances it doesn't work. And so what it does for me is it invalidates the usage of using it as support and resistance. What it does for me is it tells me the momentum of the move, just like the RSI, right? I could sit here and I could say the RSI is like, oh yeah, this point at the RSI we always bounce. No, I have to identify the RSI. Are we at the bottom of the range, the top of the range, the middle of the range? And are we above the middle of the range, below the middle of the range? And I have to interpret that as bearish, bullish, which side I'm on, how much room I have to move. And so that's where all the momentum kind of comes together, right? It just tells me, okay, this is your momentum play, because you were right on the 50. You got plenty of room to the upside. Stochastics bottomed. I got multiple indicators signaling the same thing for more upside. So I should take the upside move, right? Or I'm under the 50, stochastics topped. I'm hitting resistance basically on momentum. Momentum's going to reverse and momentum's going to come back down, which means price is going to come down with it. And that's why, like, I like MAs, but I don't like MAs. I actually stopped using MAs a long time ago.
I use MAs as support and resistance sometimes, and I'm not ashamed to admit it because it works, but I use them more for crosses than I do for support and resistance. There's more alpha in identifying the momentum than there is from using it as support and resistance, in my opinion.
And crosses is great. That's actually not a bad move at all, Max. Like, especially high time frame crosses.
No, I like them on low time frame, bro. I like them on low time frame. Well, look, you would have sold every rip down here, and then you get the cross. And now, if you don't break it, it's kind of a bid the dip mentality, right? But
yeah, but if you get the 200 weekly and the 50 weekly crossing each other, that's a pretty significant.
No, yeah, I just like for like low time frame, I just like looking at that.
Yeah, because you could play the high end range and the low end range, and
because you can just see like algos selling it every time it taps it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And the second you get above, you know, you could get an uptrend sweep,
and then they start bidding it.
Yep,
right here. So
that's your uptrend sweep right there. You pulled above and then roll back to it, use it as support, and bounced off.
Yeah,
I try not to tell new people to trading this, because like they'll look at this and they'll use that as signals. Right, and then they'll try and trade off of that, and a lot of people get wrecked, because that was actually what happened to me when I first started trading. I tried to trade off of MAs,
because if you're trying to trade like this, you're gonna get destroyed trying to trade crossovers in that.
Yeah,
but you know, you look at the one cross down, and you're like, oh, that would have been a great trade, but then it's like,
it's always hindsight too.
Bits if you did that.
Yep,
it's confluence, you know, but you can't exclusively use it. Not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah. All indicators are just to kind of give you the momentum of the trade for me.
Oh my! Look at that Hagrid Super Sniper 9000 extravaganza,
Wow,
calling
look
the
at
top.
that, man. Boom, boom,
It just called an uptrend, bro.
boom.
It's buy time.
Oh, dude,
Hagrid Super
That's that one.
Sniper, man. Wow.
Hold on. The Super Sniper says buy.
Wait,
Look at it.
is that the 15-minute destroyer or
Yeah, it is.
nice?
No, it is. Yeah.
Hey, Tucker.
I mean,
could
look at
borrow a
this,
screen?
man. Look at this. Boom, boom. Free to members of the BB Discord. This is the Hagrid self-coded Super Sniper. So, not a
Could I
joke.
borrow? Yeah, no, he's for real. Like he gives it to the BB for free. Could I borrow a screen real quick?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
run here in a minute.
Well, you can't borrow, man. You want something, you got to take it.
I still haven't figured out how to take it, unfortunately. I guess I'm that old. But no, I just wanted to cover liquidity real quick. For those of you wondering, like this, I mean, it's not hard to read, guys. Like I'll give you the site, dexscreen.com right here. I'm literally just running through, and I went through all of these chains last night, every single one of them, looking for liquidity. And I just came through and I was like, all right, what's volume look like on each one of these chains? And what are we seeing? ETH, highest volume, right? On ETH. Obviously, that makes sense. What's the second highest volume coin on here? It's Stables. It's Stables.
Not great.
No, but yeah, you don't want to see that as your second highest volume. You just don't. And some people may be like, well, oh, that's people loaded up because they're gonna buy the dip on it. No, they're not. That is not what this means. Like this would be much lower if that was the case. You would see lots of other things getting bid. Look, even BTC on ETH is lower than Stables right now. That wasn't the case last night, by the way. Last night BTC was higher. So that tells you that they stopped buying BTC.
Sorry for cutting you off, Will. I just wanted to see what the ratio of the stable coin to market cap chart looked like. I know it's been used by a few people to call tops and bottoms over the last few years.
Yeah, it's USDC, USDT, something. I remember, didn't Ben Cohen have a, he gave us all the tickers on that one time.
Tucker, do you have that chart?
What chart?
The stable coin market cap versus like total or something.
Oh no, that's my chart. That's my chart. I'm taking credit for that.
Yeah, Max has
that's
that
me.
one. Yeah.
You guys want to see that one?
I do,
that's
especially
not
Will's talking about stables.
I showed Ben that chart before we went on stream, man. He hadn't seen that one before.
You could show it. You could present.
Well, you don't seem that excited. No, I don't really want to show it.
Well, we're trying to put you on the spot here because we know you're.
I'm fine being put on the spot. You know, if you're bored by it, I don't have to show you. It's fine.
No, I want to see it. I want to see it. Go ahead.
You sure? I don't want to. I don't want to impose or anything.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right.
All right, geez.
You know what's funny here? Ethereum is number 1 right now. Arbitrum was number 2, and now BSC is number 2. Wonder why BSC is number 2.
It's a good question.
They're moving up. They adding liquidity. What's going on here?
I'm just saying this is like the most bearish chart in crypto, guys. I've been tracking it for months. I made a video on this, by the way, it's on this channel. If you guys want to watch it, goes through like every example, but yeah, man, this is like the most bearish looking chart you could think of here.
They're just hugging the high there too. Look at them.
And this is what happens, bro. Hang on, just hang on a second now.
If that becomes a breakout, that's gonna be NGL, man. NGL.
Where's the index?
You want them to break. Hold on. What were the? Yeah. Let's line them up. There you go. Let's line up each leg up and see what the stablecoin was doing there.
Can you guys see this okay on your end?
Yep.
That's kind of all squished a little bit, but
no, let's good on our end.
All right, so here's Bitcoin on the bottom, and here's my risk on, risk off indicator, man. USDC plus USDT as a ratio against the total crypto market cap. And I mean, it's called some tops, and it's definitely called some bottoms too.
I mean, by that chart, we're not even close to a bottom.
I mean, this is the
distributive tops are pretty easy to see there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, here we can just even go through like this, as it gets into the buy zone, sell zone,
Look, you got buy it all
zone,
right there.
sell it all again right here, man. I mean, what else is there to say? You know, is it going to break eventually? Yeah, I would expect it to break eventually, but do you really want to fade it right now?
So this is basically, but I will say this. I do want to point this out. If you have a big, broad macro outlook, this is actually kind of bullish because it means that you've basically got downtrend and stable against total, which means that people are continuing to hold more and more and more as stable and total continue to chad in each direction. And what I mean by that is like your floor gets higher, right? Each cycle, more or less, by the indication of the way this chart is set up. Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
for sure. And one bullish argument to this, by the way, is precisely what happened right here. Right before the bull market started. Look what happened. So we saw a major divergence where from this low right here, this COVID low, Bitcoin went to like, under 4,000. At this point,
You were in a momentum uptrend, but it called the bottom pretty much of that momentum uptrend.
yeah, it just tells you when people are willing to take risk and hold volatile crypto assets versus going risk off. So it's like this went down, and we reset here, and price was like 3x off of the low.
It's almost like a divergence in a sense, right?
Yeah, so we can this is what this is telling me here, because Bitcoin here went up 3x. Altcoins like total 3 probably got smacked around during this time. Like alts were just bleeding like crazy, and people were moving out of altcoins into stable coins. So this went down to the bottom line, buy it all, and Bitcoin was just kind of ranging and moving up. And that same thing could happen again. By the way, it's not really my base case, but we could see something like this happen. Long drawn out bleed, and Bitcoin could basically just kind of like, whatever, hang out around here. And this will go down and make a significantly new low into the buy it all region because altcoins are getting rotated out of into stable coins.
Well, here's the thing too. You can trade up to the next low there and trade down to the next low on your other chart. All right. Well, go ahead and do like a connect the dots between all the lows and the lows on the chart.
What do you mean connect the dot? These are all, it's on a channel. They're all connected.
Yeah, but I'm saying on the chart, on Bitcoin's chart.
Yo, pull up Tether USD. Pull up Tether USD.
Is something happening?
Oh no,
Tommy.
Wait,
Tether
USD to USD.
Yeah, is it on Nance or go to the lower time frame?
Wait, this is the market
Yeah,
cap.
that's the market cap.
No, don't do the slash. Just do USD to USD.
Is there one for Binance? Do Coinbase and Binance
US.
and maybe even Bitfinex if they have one.
Hang on, everybody. Calm down. Is this a red alert?
We're going to Coinbase. I can't find the one you want.
I think I'll be real, Tommy. I think VIX is topped here.
You think the VIX is topped?
Oh, jeez.
I do. Look at SPY right now.
I mean, SPY could bounce to 4,400 this week, but I think it's much more likely that we see a
Is this what you're talking about, Tommy?
Drop into the end of September or the end of the first half of October, I should say. Yeah, that's Tucker. Or
I don't.
I mean,
that's not too crazy.
Hey,
that's
man,
classic Tether.
Yeah, that's nothing new, man. This we know how
while Tether randomly dumps.
We know how these things work. Okay, we know how these things work.
Is that why alt's pumped on Tether?
Maybe. Tether's pumping. It's over for alts.
Are they? Wait, chart like Matic or ETH against USDC. How does it look?
Dude, SPY is bouncing in a big way right now, though.
mean, there's a small premium from or on USDC versus USDT because USDT depegged a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's something to keep an eye out for, is what I'm saying.
My God.
God forbid. I mean, I hope it's not Tether, but
Well, if it is Tether, then none of us are getting out. So
No, then we're just bidding Bitcoin at 26K.
yeah, that's true. That actually is the solution. Is like
Yeah.
if there's serious stablecoin FUD, you just go heavy in Bitcoin.
Tether will legitimately print themselves out of it, bro. Tether is our version of the Fed, just in,
That's real.
in virtual reality, right?
I've never heard Tether compared to the Fed before. That's pretty funny.
they're the Fed, but much less capitalized, unfortunately.
Real quick, I would like to touch base on 3 charts here.
Let's do it.
Because I got to roll here in a minute. But one thing I wanted to show here, when it comes to BNB, for me, this is like your hold zone, right? You need to be up here. You are right now significantly lower, and not only are you lower, you're trading lower here, right? And I made this chart super clean and easy to understand, right? You had your structural uptrend, you're breaking that uptrend, you're now below, you retest, you're coming down. So where does this thing end? Maybe here, maybe here, right? I mean, I'm just gonna be real, like about price here. And I know a lot of people are going like, that's 4, that's fine. Feel however you feel. I can't affect your feelings. I can just give you reality. But you do have some support here, right? I will arguably say that you have a little bit right there, but you don't have much left here. Like if you get below 200, there's not a lot here that's going to hold you on price. Like you're basically going to flush below 200, and there's nothing here to catch it. There's literally nothing. There's no liquidity. There's nobody that's going to step in because these are what we call fair value gaps, right? There's so many fair value gaps all the way down. I would say if you're going to catch liquidity at all on BNB on the low here, I'll be generous. I'll be generous. Okay. If you break 200, like that's your generous zone right there. That's probably where you'll go. What your high end range is here. If you catch, and your low end range is here, right? I don't know. I don't subscribe to leaving liquidity behind like this, but it's a possibility, right? It's a possibility. I mean, Tesla's done it, so I won't put it past other things. I mean, I've seen bigger Ponzi's, right? When it comes to these kind of things, and they continue to float up and up and up, aka Apple. Moving into other things, though, I wanted to kind of touch base on VIX. So here's kind of the other one right here, and this is the chart I was talking about, Tommy. And this is kind of like what I like to call your mid zone, right? Your middle between your high and your low. And so this is a very important area for me. It's almost like the 50 on the RSI, right? So as long as you come up to that and reject, you have a good chance to continue to keep playing the trend to the downside, right? And I think arguably you have your downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, and I think we're in the downtrend now, right? I do think there's a big spike coming. Now, keep in mind, even though we are in a structural downtrend, there's periods of time where you see heavy volatility, aka heavy sell-offs, even though we're in a structural downtrend, right? And that's what I meant by like higher time frame move. If you were to look at this from like a channel perspective, we could take it from here to here until we get the big spike, then we can just readjust it. But for now, I'd say kind of your volatility zone is more or less trapped inside of here until we get a breakout move, right? And when you get that breakout move, it's over. It's over. Like this thing's going to start trending back up. We're going to get some kind of massive bull market that's going to result in a catastrophic event. But overall, volatility for me is moving down, right? We're getting less and less volatility. More and more buying, more and more scooping. Doesn't mean we can't go lower, but does mean that
the high time frame trend for volatility is lower. That's been the case for the entirety of the excessive QE period that we've had. Because as I was saying, I mean, the short volatility trade is kind of a function of the excess liquidity. So you're only going to see cracks in it when you have interest rates rising as rapidly as they are, and then second, you don't have as many supportive flows coming in equities as you do at other times here into the end of the month, and then I think the first week or two in October. But it's difficult for me to see I could see a pullback here on the VIX here, locally, maybe 10-20%. But I think it's difficult. I don't think that equities have bottomed on against the dollar, right? So it's difficult for me to say that I think that the VIX is topped yet. But I'm not sure that this is like the breakout of the VIX. What I like about the VIX right now is that you can get calls for the VIX into the end of year that are dirt cheap. And even if you don't want to bet directionally, I mean, the risk reward to bet directionally even still is phenomenal. But it's great portfolio insurance, I think, if you want to start DCAing into things or buying stuff over the next few weeks, just in case there's a VIX spike, you can protect yourself against that.
Yeah, I would say here you are squeezed, right? You are squeezed for sure. You need some kind of release of tension, right? I definitely agree on that. It's just a matter of when, not necessarily if. And I think we do get a big spike in a big way back up to the high end range here. The thing that I'm kind of getting at, that's kind of lining up with this for me mentally, is the bounce over here on SPY, right? But again, SPY is also bouncing into high time frame resistance, and it's stopped at high time frame resistance. So that's kind of another thing too. So yeah, you could be right on that VIX play playing out to the upside if they can get through to, if basically if they reject here, right? And if it does play to the upside, I would expect they're going to come back down and hit my 42.83 zone, which is our liquidity right here, right? And if the VIX continues to keep chatting, they're going to come down, they're going to fill this gap way down here, and they're going to come down and probably touch grass down here at the high end range, right, of 4,100. And that'll bring the market back to reality at that point. And I think at these levels, I think most people would be too scared to touch it. It'll probably start catching a bid there and reversing back to the upside if it comes back down here. But that's my thoughts overall. But I got to run though, guys. But
See, well,
if you want to touch on that, you can touch on that real quick before I leave.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think a sell-off that traded as aggressively as into touching grass essentially, or like in the middle of the area that you've marked out, could trigger a response from the Fed or a response from policymakers that ultimately leads to price appreciation, right? I think that's the bull case, is actually a sharper sell-off here in the immediate term, because you probably set yourself up over the next year or two for prices to or for some QE or for some stimulus, right? I mean, that would be the bull case, right? Because inflation's still a huge problem, but it hasn't flared back up in a way that would prevent policymakers from doing QE, maybe, or at least the optics of it. I think you could probably tolerate the optics of it if you got a big sell-off in the market, if that makes sense.
I think though, I do want to touch on that, because I think inflation's a very important topic that's not being addressed, right, in conversation. And I'll tell you this, look, I can tell when inflation's kicking in when my gas goes from $40 a tank to $70, and it's already doing that again out here. And that takes a while to work its way into pricing. And that's why inflation's a problem, right? Because inflation, although transportation is your biggest cost factor when it comes to a lot of products, that doesn't necessarily work its way in within the first month or two, right? Because they're paying the higher gas prices, but they're not really experiencing the increase in price to move those products. Once the person who's moving the products realizes gas has gone up and transportation has gone up, they then implement to the shipper, hey, we're paying more, so you're paying more. And then that shipper says, okay, we're paying more, so consumer, you're paying more. And that's how inflation trickles its way down, and it takes a couple months for that to play out. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that. They think inflation just has to turn around in a month or two, and they're able to see that. And I think that this whole play, I'm already seeing it on the gas side, at least here at my home state. And so I think that it will trickle its way back in. At minimum, it will hold inflation from being able to go any lower. At maximum, inflation may start ticking back up. And I don't think it's something that just reverses. I think there's a lot of people that are looking at inflation like it's just going to turn around all of a sudden. It's like there's no indication here on oil that it's turning around. This is a full-on bull move.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about oil before you left. I'm glad you brought it up.
Like look at this. Like you can't sit there and be like, oh, look at the stochastic, Tommy. Look at the stochastic. And look at oil's high. It's bottomed. Like you can come down, but it looks like it wants to rip again.
Yeah, it looks more bullish than equities. It looks a lot like the dollar. I mean, so it's kind of hard to be bearish on it necessarily, right?
You've broken above high time frame resistance. And I think this is the reason why the dollar's moving too. And this is why I don't know if 110 would be the top for the dollar. Because if oil comes up here to my C, dollar's going way up. We're looking at like 120, right? And if we're looking at $120, looking at 4K SPY easy, if not a full-on capitulation event back to the low.
My buddy Paulie posted a actually I'm not going to reveal exactly what it is because it's from his burner, but he RLB overlaid on the dollar. So maybe we should take a look at that pattern.
Yeah, if you look here though, this is where I identified the high on the oil, right? And I was always anticipating at some point they'll come back for this. I don't think they leave it behind. I just don't. I think they come back, they tap this. The people that got trapped up here many years ago get out, and then oil capitulates at the high here. But the problem is you come back up here on oil, you get above 140 a barrel on oil, like the market's going to crash in a big way, right? You do not want to get above 140 a barrel. Don't. That's hyper. You're getting, I won't say hyperinflation, but I would say you're getting at dangerous levels of inflation at that position, right? That's telling you inflation's ramping up in a big way. Now I'm not trying to scare people, but like just like SPY, remember SPY's consolidation right here? We've gotten above the consolidation range. It's no longer resistance. It's flipped to support. Like even if this thing were to come back down and retest the lows here, it's in a structural uptrend, period, flat out when it comes to oil. So I just want to point that out, but I got to run though.
See, well,
might give you something to talk on.
Oh man,
yeah.
Oh wow,
I did some massaging there, boys. Roll bit overlaid on the dollar.
God forbid that happens, man. That does favor a spike on the VIX if that's the case. Yeah. But I think after that happens, right? I mean, that's probably an optimal time to be allocating. If we get a spike and then a distribution at the highs, it'd be hard for me not to want to allocate to assets after that.
Yeah.
Damn, I would be shoving.
That goes through June of 24. Man. That would line up. It'd be rough, but
yeah. Then QE and ZERP again. Just run it back to the trend line, the yellow trend line. Rinse, repeat.
Run it back. Yeah.
All right, I think we should call it here, guys. We've been going a little over an hour now.
Can do that.
Tommy, take us away, brother.
For sure. We appreciate you guys for being here as always. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Monday morning with us. Of course, we'll have some great spaces going later this week to discuss all things financial markets. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow for another episode of Market Check. Just a reminder, like Max was saying on the show, we do have some premium links in the bio of our Twitter and the link tree, as well as the description of this YouTube video. So check those out. We've been crushing the markets lately, and I mean that in all sincerity. I mean, we've been absolutely crushing it. So going to give us a little pat on the back for that, but y'all can come in and check it out for 1 month free with I think we have the code. Yep, we do have the code going on the bottom of the screen. So I hope to see you guys in there, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow on the show. And I'm praying that we get some volatility in these markets over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but it's been a minute, a few weeks since we've had real movement in the markets. Equities kind of set the stage a bit for a bit more of a trend, I think, over the last week or so. So we'll kind of see what, kind of what that directionality could mean for markets into Q4. But thank you. We will be back, of course, tomorrow, like I said, and y'all have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.